Welcome back, Jam Play. I'm Mark Brennan, and you are on my Basic Electric Guitar series. Today we got Lesson 18. Going to continue on in D major. We're going to learn the chords in D major. Work you through all the different chords. Got a couple bar chords we're going to introduce today. We're going to work you through some chord pairs and some progressions, and we're going to do the accompaniment for the original melody that was in Lesson 17. So, we're staying with the chorus sound today, clean with chorus. That's one of my favorite sounds for chords. So, tune up and we'll be right back. Thanks. Okay, chords in D major. We're going to have a lot of carryovers from the previous keys, but for D major, we're going to introduce two new chords. The A, actually, three new chords. We're going to do the A, the A7, and then the F sharp minor, which will probably be your first bar chord. So let's get at it. Look at your supplemental material. We'll start at the top. Now we got D. D was in the key of G. Okay, so you should be nice and comfortable with this. Again, a lot of people have trouble with D. They have trouble with bumping the top string with the ring finger. They have trouble getting their index up close to the fret, so this note doesn't rattle out on you. I think the key is, like I'm always saying, is to get the hand around, get the wrist under, get up on the tips, get tight on the frets, get that index as close to the fret as you possibly can. And it's a root 4 chord, so we strum the top 4 strings. Okay. Okay, now the 2 chord, or the number 2 chord, is E minor. Okay, now we know E minor, we had that in C, we had it in G. Now it becomes the number 2 chord in the key of D. Okay? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add an extension to it. We're going to learn the E minor 7. Now, there's a few different ways to play the E minor 7, but I'll just show you the style where you have the basic E minor, and then you add your pinky onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, which gives you the note D, and there's your E minor 7. It's a little tastier sounding chord because it has the 7th in it. Real pretty chord. Okay, so we have the E minor, and then we're going to work on the E minor 7 in this lesson. Okay? Okay, the 3 chord is F sharp minor. Okay, now, I remember when I was a young lad, the first way I learned F sharp minor was just with a straight bar. Okay, so what you want to start with is we're going to bar the 2nd fret 3 strings. Now, with a bar, you need to straighten out your index. Try to get it parallel to the fret so you don't have any rattle. You don't want to be doing this. You want to try to get it as parallel to the fret as you can. Okay, now with this chord, you're going to get it down to like this first knuckle. Okay, and then just check for clean tones on all 3 strings. Okay, so once I got that going, then I can reach with my ring finger to the F. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, because this is where our hand position comes into play. And we need to stretch to the F sharp, and you want to make sure you get clearance on the 3rd string. You don't want to be... Okay, a lot of people aren't making enough of a stretch, and they do this, and it's just a big clunker right here. You need to get the hand around like this. Straight bar, parallel to the fret. Stretch the ring finger out, up on the tip. Tap 4 strings. Nice and clean. There's your F sharp minor. Might take a little work because you might not have enough finger strength in your index to press down 3 strings. You remember the F chord. Okay, you were pressing down 2 strings. Okay, so the F sharp minor, you're pressing 3 strings now. Okay, so there it is, F sharp minor. Okay, now moving on to the 4 chord, we have G. Okay, it was the 1 chord in the key of G major, now it's the 4 chord in the key of D. Okay, now we move to our dominant chord, the 5 chord. This is a new chord, it's A. Now, when you learn the A chord, you're going to discover there's several different ways to finger it. Okay, a lot of people will show you different ways to play it, but the way I'm going to show you is with the second finger on the second fret of the fourth string, the third finger on the second fret of the second string. Okay, so you have this set up on the same fret. Now, with the index finger, just try to tuck it in there on the third string on the second fret. Okay, obviously you're not going to get it all the way up to the fret wire, but if you get it tucked in there enough, that note will be clean, if you get enough pressure. Okay, so that fingering is on the supplemental material at the top of the page. It's 2 and 3, and then the index in here. Now, there'll be other ways to finger the A, like 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3. If you have friends who play guitar, ask them how they play the A chord. They probably have different ways to play it. But I always suggest this way because it creates good finger movement from chord to chord in this key, and you end up with good pivot finger movement. It's like going from the D chord to the A chord. You see that you pivot off the index finger. Okay. And then this is also the fingering for, we'll see the A7 chord. You use the 2-3 configuration here for the A7 chord. Okay, so practice it like that. It's a root 5 chord, so you strum it from the 5th string. Make sure you have clearance on the top string. Okay, you gotta really get it clustered in here tight, right on the tips of the fingers. Okay. Okay, that's the 5 chord now. Now, why don't we talk about the 5-7? We're going to substitute the 7 diminished chord with the dominant 7th chord, like I've done in my previous lessons. Okay, so you lift up the index and you have your A7. Okay, and again, you gotta be careful not to bump the 3rd string or hit it with the top of your nail with your ring finger. You got to get right up on the tip. Make sure you have clearance on the 3rd string. Okay, now the 6th chord is B minor. Now you remember B minor from the key of G. Okay, so hopefully you're comfortable with this grip now. Okay, it's kind of tough because you really have to shape it and lay it down. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to learn the full bar form of this. Okay, so 2, 3, and 4 will remain the same. We're going to take our index and then we're going to straighten it out, roll around a little bit, and then lay out a straight bar across the 2nd fret. And you really only need to do it down to the 5th string when you're playing B minor, because this is now the root of the chord. Ah, beautiful. Now you got the bass note going. See, when you played it like this before, you really were playing it in root position. You were playing it with the 5th in the bottom. But now, with the full bar, we've got a nice full B minor chord with the root in the bass. Now, a lot of people will feel more comfortable barring all the way across. That's fine, okay? Because that's actually a good note. That's the 5th at the bottom. Okay, and it gives you a nice big full sound, especially when you play acoustic guitar B minor. It's got that real nice bottom sound to it. But if you want to strum it from the root, which as a rule of thumb that's what we'll do, strum it from the 5th string. Actually, this is a good idea when you're making the move to the full bar F sharp minor, which we'll take a look at later in the lesson. Like that. But if you're comfortable barring to 5, that's good. Okay? If you're comfortable barring all the way across, that's fine, but strum it from the 5th string. Okay, so let's go through a real quick review, then we'll take a break. Okay, we have the D, and then the 2 chord is the E minor. We put the 7 on top for an E minor 7. Then we have the F sharp minor. Now notice I barred to the 4th string on this one. Again, it's what you're more comfortable with when you first start to learn how to play this chord. If you got it with 3 strings, that's great. A lot of people will feel more comfortable barring 4 strings. That's fine too. Strum it from the 4th string though, that's the root. Okay, then the G chord is 4. Our dominant 5 chord is A. Our dominant 7 is A7. And then our 6th chord, we'll play the full bar B minor. Okay, so a lot to get under your fingers. Let's take a break, and you get those going, and we'll come back with some chord pairs to help you make shifts from chord to chord. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you got your chords pretty comfortable under your left hand. Now what we'll do is we'll practice moving from chord to chord with some chord pairs. You're probably familiar with this procedure that I've done in previous lessons. Good way to just take two chords, practice the movements from chord to chord, and ensure that you get them in rhythm, hopefully. Okay. Okay, so the first one we have is D to G. Okay. I think we've done this one before. We might have, we probably did this in the key of G, because those two chords appeared. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do them at 100. Okay, and we'll start with half notes. So here's D to G, half notes. And just do them as many times as you want, as slow as you want. Just do them with a metronome to keep them steady. Okay? Okay, a few comments. Again, try to avoid stop, strum, stop, move the chord. I can't get it. There it is. Strum, stop. Okay. Somewhere along the line you have to establish good rhythm for yourself. Okay, now there's a few things to remember with this particular chord change, is you have that lock and shift with 2-3 down to the bottom, 2 strings on the G, okay? So it's just a matter of hovering the pinky, lock and shift, drop it in, okay? Lock and shift, bring the index down. Okay, so the fingers are kind of working in harmony here, okay? We're getting away from the one finger at a time deal. Okay, you got to get these grips under your fingers where you lay them out, and you can do them at any speed. Okay, and D and G. Strum G from 6, strum D from 4. Okay, okay, D to A. Now I showed you before that you have a pivot finger going to the A chord. Okay. Now, when I play the D, my index is kind of down like in the middle of the fret. So when I make the change to A, I really don't have to move it. Okay, now, different people have different hands, different size fingers. You might have to slide it a little bit. Okay, you might have to slide it up a little bit. But the idea is to keep it on the 3rd string and the 2nd fret, and just move these 2 fingers like that. Okay, so there's your D, and there's your A chord. That's right. At 100, and then A. Strum A from 5, strum D from 4. Let's do it a couple more times. See, I'm pivoting off my index. I might move it slightly, and then finish on D. Okay, now, real similarly, we'll do D to A7 now. Real common chord progression in the key of D. D to A7. Now, you have a glide finger, okay? What we'll do is we'll pick 1, 2 up, we'll glide 3 down, drop 2 in. Get on the tips, make sure you got clearance on the 3rd string. Okay, D. Slide 3 down, strum 5, strum from 4, strum from 5. As slow as you want, as many times as you want. Just get it in rhythm, get it smooth and clean. Okay, get the idea? And make sure your guitar's in tune. Okay, now, next one, B minor to the new F sharp minor. Okay? Now, from now on, we play the full B minor, okay? Unless there's some reason in a particular arrangement of a song that we just need the top 4, like the first chord of Pinball Wizard. Okay, but from now on, we'll just basically play the full B minor, unless you're struggling with it, where you still need to go back and practice this. That's fine. But for me, I'm just going to demonstrate everything with the full bar B minor. Okay, Now we move to the F sharp minor. We're going to pivot off our third finger. Okay. Now I'm not poking the index or the middle finger up like this. Oh, excuse me. I'm keeping it curved, okay, so I don't do anything vulgar here. Just to hover it over the fretboard, and then when I make the move back to B minor, it's really right, stays right over the strings, okay? I just have to move the bar. I'm going to move the bar from 5 strings to 3 strings, okay? And my ring finger basically doesn't move. Try it. I want to slow this one down a little bit. And B minor, F sharp minor, pivot off 3, F sharp minor you strum from the 4th string, the B minor from the 5th string. One more time. And end on B minor. Yeah, a lot of people hate that B minor chord. It's not an easy grip when you're learning to play the guitar, but it's in a lot of guitar-friendly keys, so you really need to get that chord going, okay? Okay, next one, we're going to shift to quarter notes now. Okay, we got E minor to A. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take 2, 3, expand it, lay it onto the 4th and 2nd strings, and bring your index in. Okay, now we'll do downstrokes, keep your right hand relaxed, and quarter notes. Strum the E minor from 6, strum the A from 5. And let's end on E minor. Okay? Okay, now the next one is similar, but we're going to bring in the E minor 7 to A7. Okay? So, got to make kind of a stretch with your pinky. And then A7, just bring 2, 3 up onto the 4th and 2nd string like that, and make sure you get clearance. Try to keep the pinky hovering, right? Don't curl it under like I see a lot of people doing that, or I see just a lot of people just sticking it straight up. Okay, try to keep the pinky hovering, so when you get back to the E minor 7, it's right over the string. Okay, still at 100, and E minor 7, A7. Hover the pinky, get it in there. A7, E minor 7, A7, and we'll end with E minor 7. Okay, good. Okay, next we'll do D to B minor. You just really have to learn the grip of B minor. The 2-3 angle is the same, but it spreads out a little bit. So you have a skip of a string between the 2-3 angle, and then you bring your pinky in and the bar. Okay, so here's D. Root 4, root 5. Root 4, top 4 strings. Hopefully your pick control is under control enough where you can strum the strings that you need to strum. And D. Okay, D to B minor. Okay, one more. We're going to go D to F sharp minor. Now what I'll do is I'll just kind of keep my index basically on the 3rd string and bring it around to the F sharp minor. And D. Keep the right hand relaxed. How about one more time? F sharp minor, and then end on the D. Okay, so those are some typical chord pairs, typical chord movements in the key of D. So work on those. We'll take a break and we'll come back with some expanded chord progressions. Thanks. Okay, we're back with chords in D major. Now we're going to do some typical chord progressions that you'll find in songs in the key of D. And we're going to strum a little bit. Some of these strums we've had in the last lesson. A couple are going to be new. Just a real quick discussion. Remember, you want to keep a steady down-up bounce in your hand with a real relaxed forearm, wrist, and hand. Don't grip the pick too hard. Okay, you wanna make this like a paintbrush. Okay, real smooth. Okay. So basically, what we do is we strum down on the quarter notes, and we strum up on the and of the eighth note. Okay, so eighth note patterns we do down up strumming, but it's a constant down up, down on the beat, up off the beat. Okay, so if you look at this first one, it's D, G, D, A7. Now, I'm putting the strumming patterns on the music there for you, in the brackets and the carets. Now, this first one is going to be down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. So on the D chord, we're going to slow it down a little bit. Just stay on the D chord and get the strum going. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Okay? If you have to slow it down, down, up, down. Keep the steady hand motion going. You make an up go strum there. Come back with a down stroke. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up. And the pattern is down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. Okay, now let's start the progression. We're going to go to the G chord. Back to the D. Now the A7. Let's do it one more time. Full G chord, all 6 strings, D, and A7. And then we'll finish with D. Okay, so you repeat that as many times as you want. Real typical 1, 4, 1, 5, 7 chord progression in the key of D. Those are what we call the 3 basic chords, the 3 primary chords in the key of D, the D, the G, and the A or A7. Okay? Okay. Now, we have D, B minor, G, A. Okay, and the strum is going to involve a ghost down strum. Okay, so the pattern is like this. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. So I have ghost. Ghost down strum there. Don't do this. Don't stop the motion of your hand. I think this is real important for steady rhythm when you do this. Down, down, up. You have the steady, even down, up motion in your hand. Okay. Now, again, we're going to use the full B minor. Okay. 2, 3, a little slower than we were before. Full B minor. G. Then regular A. Another typical chord progression in D. Nice and smooth, nice and relaxed in the right hand. Let's do it one more time. And finish on D. Okay. Okay, now we're going to get the F sharp minor involved with this next one. And a different type of strumming pattern. Now we're going to have a down and then an up, down, ghost strum at the beginning of this. Then we follow with a up, down, up, down. So the pattern is down, up, down, up, down, down, up, ghost, down, ghost, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Okay, keep that motion in your hand going for steady rhythm. F sharp minor, E minor, A7. E minor, A7. One more time. And D. Okay. Now this next one is a real nice chord progression. It's a little more extended. It's 8 bars. And a new twist. I'm going to show you how to play a full bar F sharp minor. Okay, now I know you just got the 4-string jab going. Okay. But we're going to experience the beauty of the F sharp minor chord. All 6 strings. Okay, so we changed to the pinky where the ring finger was, and then the ring finger on the 5th string. Okay, so you have this 3/4 configuration down here. Kind of think of it like the E minor chord. Okay, but changing to 3 and 4. Bring it up to the 4th fret, bar all the way across. Okay, now here you need all 6 strings. Try getting the big knuckle on the top 2 strings, and you have to get downward pressure in here. You can't curve your finger like that. You have to try to get downward pressure with your index. And you want to make sure that you're getting the note on the 3rd string nice and clean. A lot of people, because they're not getting the downward pressure in the middle of the index finger. See what I mean? What I need to do to get that. And then the big knuckle covers the top 2 strings. And then I have the tip on the low F sharp. Okay, so down the road we'll start calling this the E minor form of the bar chord because it is movable. It goes all the way up the neck and transposes to different chords depending on the root. Okay, so this is our E minor form. We've taken our E minor chord, switched to 3/4, brought it up here, and now in the 2nd position with the F sharp at the bottom, F sharp minor. Okay, so you move to the B minor. It's a real easy move. Okay, you just pick up 3/4, they lock and shift, you put it here and you bring your 2nd finger down, you don't even move the bar. So it's real easy to move back and forth because they're in the same position and you don't move the bar. F sharp minor, B minor. Okay. Now another little twist that I put into this progression is the G chord. I like to play the G chord most of the time without the 2nd finger down, and I dampen the 5th string. To me, it's a cleaner sound. When you play this chord, which in a lot of situations it sounds good because you want a fuller sound, has that low mid-rangey kind of a sound to it with the B on it. But when you take the B off and dampen the 5th string, it has a cleaner, less muddy sound to me. So a lot of times I like playing the G like this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm picking up 2 and I'm dampening the 5th string. Okay, so we'll use that G in this chord progression. Now this strum is like this. It's going to be down, up, down, down, up, down. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Let's start the progression now. B minor. There's that G. D. A. Now F sharp minor, full bar. B minor. Now the E minor 7. A7 sus. Okay. Yes, another new twist. A7 sus 4. Okay. A sus 4 is when you take the 3rd of the chord, this being the C sharp, and putting it up to the 4th scale tone, which would be D. Thus the sus 4. It's referred to as suspended 4th because most of the time it's resolved back to the 3rd, which we have in this situation. So I'm going to start with my basic A7, drop the pinky on the 3rd fret for the A7 sus 4, and then we're going to resolve it back to A7. So that'll be down, up on the A7, down on the A7 sus 4, up on the A7. Okay. Sorry I'm throwing all these new twists in, but we're pushing the envelope here. Okay, B minor, G, D, A, full bar, F sharp minor. Make the smooth change to B minor, E minor 7. Now I just pivot off my pinky for the sus 4. Okay, let's do it again. F sharp minor, B minor. I'll do it one more time. F sharp minor, up, down, B minor, up, E minor 7. Now I'm going to end with a D major 7. Okay, there's your D major 7. It's real similar to the F sharp minor chord where you bar the top 3 strings, but you leave the 4th string open. Real easy chord to play. So there you have it. Okay, so that concludes the chord progression part of the lesson here. We'll take a break here, and then we're going to harmonize my original melody from the previous lesson. Now, I thought what we'd do is we would take that melody from lesson 17, my original melody, and we would harmonize it with a chord progression. Okay? Now, I'm going to introduce you a new style of accompaniment with this too, not just strumming. What we're going to do is it's kind of like an arpeggiated way of playing it, where with each chord, we're going to pick the root and then the next note up, and then strum the rest of the chord. Kind of like that. All with downstrokes, 1 and 2. So I'm just going to do this on the D chord, the root, the next note up, and then the rest of the chord. Now when I go to the B minor, you hit the root, next note, strum the rest of the chord, let the whole thing ring. E minor, same thing, and then A7. Okay, there's the D again. Now with the F sharp minor, I'm going to start on the 4th string. And in the E minor 7, I'm just going to go to the 2nd string on that. I like the way that sounds without the top string. And then the A7 just to the 2nd string. Moving ahead, you're back to the B minor, same thing. The F sharp minor, E minor, and then hold the F sharp minor for beats 3 and 4. E minor, A7 sus, D. Okay, now notice how I arpeggiated that. I took the D chord, 4th string down, 3rd string down, up on the 2nd string, down on the 3rd string, and then strum the whole chord. Down, down, up, down, down. Okay, so that's the first 8 bars of it. It's pretty much the same. When we get to the end, if you look at the last 4 bars, we have the D, then the B minor. Now we're going to do this, E minor, and then we're going to strum a full B minor, A, then D, E minor, A7, and then D. Okay, so that's it. So what we'll do is I'm going to run it down for you, and then we're going to go back and I'm going to play the melody over it, okay? And the D, B minor, minor, Okay, so there you have it. Now we'll put the melody on top of it. Okay, hope you enjoyed that little tune of mine. I'm Mark Brennan for Jam Play. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thanks for being with me today. Looking ahead, we're going to get back to some power chords. We're going to start moving some power chords around. So we will crank it up and rock and roll. Till next time, I'm Mark Brennan, and I'll see you then. Bye.